Hey folks, welcome back to another Poem Masters video, and today we are gonna check out Musharna's grid. So she's officially my new most favorite poke or I guess sync pair to use in this game. It's so fun to use Musharna. It's so good. It's incredibly powerful. It's even better than I thought, and I initially thought she was going to be very good. She even exceeded my expectations as I floated across the screen. Anyways, let's check out the sync grid. So there's a lot of really expensive nodes in this grid, right? That's like one sort of issue with her grid, like stuff like Psychic Drain, Hidden Heal, that's 10 energy, right? Recognition 2, that's 8. Pepper Alley, that's 8. Brain Teaser's 10, right? Impervious 15. Weird Shield 8. Unfurter just 3, 8. Right? Weird Recovery, that's another 10. A lot of very, very expensive nodes on our grid. However, we can make it work. We can make it work, right? If only we got more energy limit on our grid, right? Absolutely fantastic grid. So, anyways, as usual, starting from 1 out of 5, nothing too much for 1 out of 5, right? It's just basically just pick up your stuff, right? Stored power, maybe. If you're going Psychic, pick up Psychic. If you're going Stored Power, go Stored Power, right? Pretty straightforward. Her stored power does so much damage, right? If you give her enough buffs and all that. Anyways, moving on to 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5, you do get some more interesting stuff, right? Psychic Terrain, MP Refresh. So let's first talk about, more of a defensive build, right? So for a defensive build, you definitely would want Weird Recovery 1, right? It depends if you want that, like, you snooze, first, you snooze, you lose. It is an MP Refresh too, so it's slightly risky picking it up, right? It's also, like, not a huge deal if you don't get it, but it would be nice if you do, right? That extra defenses. But on the other hand, obviously, you could just pick up another, support to fill out those defense holes. But if you don't, then you pick that up, right? As for some other stuff, pre-recognition 2, charge your gauge faster in the terrain, right? So there's that, and this is basically what you really need for a defensive build, right? If you're just using her just to maybe take some hits, set terrain, all that stuff, maybe not even take hits, just mainly just set terrain, right? This is basically what you want. As for some other stuff, right, because you do have some more options to pick up some more nodes. If you are running a team with, like, enough speed, right, enough gauges, and you are running your striker as, like, a special striker, then maybe pick up Psychic MGR to get some, special defense drops on the opponent as well, right, if that's the case. You can pick up maybe some Psychic nodes or whatever, right? If not, then obviously, Store Power is a much better option here. Again, if you want to pick up, you snooze, you lose, it really depends, right? And then just some defensive nodes, maybe speed nodes. She's not the fastest, right? So some speed would be nice, right? And some other, stat nodes, right? If you're trying to build a more offensive grid, right? Because again, she could do some real solid damage with stored power, right? Just pick up your stored power nodes, all that stuff. You still need Psychic Terrain, right? I don't really think you need pre-recognition too, because again, you're just tagging with, like, a 2-gauge move. This is like your main striker, right? And you don't have to use her as a main striker. You can use her as a, like, secondary striker. That would work as well. If you want to pick up a Weird Recovery, you can pick that up. You don't have to, since again, this is a more offensive, if you're using her more offensively, right? You pick up the special attack power-ups, special attack. Actually, do you have enough for both? Yeah, I guess you can. So yeah, you could pick up stuff like this, right? Still pick up some speed, all that stuff, right? Or not pick up the speed and pick up the, you could pick up both, right? Instead of that defense. Again, it depends on if you're bringing in supports or how many supports, what supports you're bringing, right? In terms of picking this one up, right? Here's the thing with Mutually Assured. I'm not a huge fan of Mutually Assured, because generally the ideal situation you want to put yourself in is not get status at all, and not just this, like, status back the opponent. And plus, a lot of scenarios, you kind of want to dictate it's just mutually assured is very, very niche, right? It's really niche in terms of what kind of status you want to reflect on, back onto your opponent, right? But again, depending on the stage, you can pick up mutually assured as well. So anyways, moving on to 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 is where we get a lot of the options, right? Here's where everything gets like super expensive and all. So anyways, let's first talk about the tech / tanking kind of build, right? So you want to get hidden heal. Hidden heal is fantastic. Makes your whole team gradually heal, right? Every time you use psychic terrain, right? So the amount of if you get like a few refreshes on that, it's not just like it's just not a regular hidden heal. Like it activates every single time, right? And you basically will be getting as much team regen for your whole team as long as you have more MP for psychic terrain, right? So anyways, moving on. For yourself, I'd pick up this weird recovery over here, right? Pick up weird recovery and probably come down and pick up weird shield. So actually, instead of that, we could go here and pick up the move gauge refresh for stored power. So we pick up weird shield, extra 50% special defense, right? We get the extra recovery over here, and then we get psychic terrain hidden heal. The downside of this build is we're a bit slower, right? Unfortunately, depends on what kind of team you want to build. And Musharna is very, very team comp heavy, right? You can't just throw Musharna in like whatever team and expect it to do good. You have to put it on a very certain specific teams to make her like absolutely fantastic, right? Just more so psychic teams, right? And yeah, you could go for that. If you want to make it like a bit faster, you could pick up pre-recognition 2 and drop maybe weird shield, again depending on what you're facing. If you're facing something that has more physical moves, you could drop weird shield. If you're fighting something that has more special moves, then I'd probably pick up weird shield and maybe you just drop the regen on that, right? So compensate. Again, this is going to be a much, much faster build, right? Pick up pep rally, give your team speed every time you use psychic terrain. And then you get move gauge regen here. This is overkill on speed, right? Honestly. So yeah, those are some of the builds that you go for. Again, more just to set up, tank / psychic terrain build. Moving on, we could go for like a sort of stored power psychic terrain build, right? This is more of an offensive build. With this, you could actually go ahead, right, and pick up a brain teaser, which more the opponent's special defensive lord, more powers up moves. Again, I'd recommend using stored power over psychic. But brain teaser does need the opponent's special defense to be lowered. So if you're running this build, you kind of have to get another sync pair to lower the opponent's special defense, something like a Crobat or like a Venusaur, right? Probably Crobat much better in this case, much more reliable and much faster, because again, Musharna is not the quickest, right, in the game. But obviously Venusaur is a much better overall unit, right? It really depends on what you're trying to go for here. So you could brain teaser, stored power, move gauge refresh, stored power, power ups, right? Again, very, very powerful. This could be a pretty great, offensive build, right? Also get that extra, truth seeking future sight, sync move power up. But you could also go for psychic, right? You could also go for psychic, and that means obviously dropping all the stored power nodes and go for some psychic nodes instead over here, right? I think you could pick up, you could pick up all the psychic nodes like this, right? Yeah, these are all the psychic nodes, and then brain teaser, constant special. If you're running this, then you probably won't need another unit to give you special defense down, right? So you could, if it loosens up a slot to do something else. So yeah, there's that, I guess. If there's any other builds, I mean, maybe you could go for like another more non-tankish, just like a psychic terrain plus special defense down build, right? So you're not tanking with Musharna, but you're here to set up you're here to set up psychic terrain for your team, and then also give special defense downs from your passive, right? On roll 4 on psychic. That's the case. Pick up obviously psychic terrain, MP refresh. Pick up psychic. Move gauge refresh, right? Again, this is just like a debuff build. Maybe come down, pick up Unfortuitous. Either not either, both of Psychic Terrain, Hidden Heal, and then Pre-Recognition too. So this is when you're not tanking yourself, because, you know, if you're if you're running this, right, without like Weird Shield and Weird Recovery, it could be hard to stay alive, right? So if you're an off tank-ish kind of unit, just setting up Psychic Terrain, and then, you know, to lower the opponent's special defense for your like main psychic type, you know, striker, right? Whether it be Caitlyn, Mew, Mewtwo, Sabrina, whoever it may be, right? All these psychic strikers, all phenomenal, right? And then you could have someone else tank, right? If you use like a Xingqiu Blue or Skylar or something else to tank, while your main striker does stuff. Like this is a fantastic build as well. Like Musharna just has so many different builds for so many different situations. It's absolutely crazy, right? I can't really give anything like definitive, right? There's just so many possibilities with her builds. And again, it really just depends on your team, how you want to build it, and what kind of role that you want to see Musharna in, because Musharna can do a lot of different stuff. But unfortunately, again, a lot of these are very expensive, so you do have to kind of sort of cater the build to more specific parts of it, right? But yeah, a lot of really great stuff here. So anyways, that's me with this one. I guess hope you guys enjoy. Let me know, guys, think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, so we're gonna channel some more Pokemon Masters content. Remember, today at Reset, we're gonna be summoning for finally Holiday Sea Vault. So I'll see you guys over there.